now and tell you that if you watch this movie, Kill Me Again, it'll be the most fun you have with a serial killer, thriller, time loop drama, action kind of movie this year. From director Keith Jardine, who I believe used to be a UFC fighter or an MMA fighter, this is the kind of directorial feature-length debut starring Brendan Fehr, who you may remember from the TV show way back called Roswell. Remember? Anyway, my name is Kevin Halden. This is Nerdly Presents Off the Reel. This is an off-the-reel review for the movie Kill Me Again. But first of all, yes, please do go over to the website, nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home for all of your news, reviews and exclusive interviews. Somebody over there may have also reviewed this movie, so obviously go and see what they thought of the flick as well. But the main thing is, check the movie out yourself. People poured their heart and soul into this movie. There are a lot of amazing performances in this movie. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do the plot of Kill Me Again, then I'll get into the cast and crew of this movie, then I'll get into what I did and didn't like about this movie, then I'll get into my final Nerdly Presents Off the Reel review rating. First of all though, let's do the old synopsis, which is over on the IMDb. So Charlie, a notorious serial killer known as the Midnight Mangler, finds himself trapped, reliving the same violent night over and over again. Initially embracing his grisly urges, Charlie soon becomes desperate to escape the endless nightmare. And you would think in a time loop situation where you're reliving the same situation and you just get to kill everybody in the room, Charlie would be having the time of his life. But we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that. When we do start the movie, we start with Anna, who comes to work one night. She's a waitress in a diner, and it's one of those diners that's open in all hours, has a whole host of out there regulars, which are going to be the characters of our movie. She's waiting for someone to come in and take over her shift. She's kind of dealing with all the riffraff of the day. The two main guys sat at the counter, and then this guy walks in called Charlie. She obviously doesn't know his name straight away, but this guy comes in and he's a little bit creepy, and we're not really sure what to make of this guy. Thing on the news about the Midnight Mangler, and as a viewer, as somebody who watches movies a lot, I'm already kind of expecting that Charlie is probably going to end up being the Midnight Mangler. Plus, it's an actor that I know. It's Brendan Fehr, so I know this guy. And we kind of go through this scenario of where she's meeting him. He's a little bit creepy, a little bit weird, but also strangely charismatically charming. And then she's also dealing with other customers who are just kind of giving her all the crap of the day. Because when you're a waitress in this situation, you have to deal with everybody else's crap. We move along, and we get to the point where she is leaving for the night and she sees Charlie outside. He then turns around, pulls a gun out and says, "Get in my van, now you're coming with me." There's this really weird, kind of like not really sexy moment. I don't think it's supposed to be sexy, but he's kind of coming onto it, and then he stabs her. Upon stabbing Anna, Charlie then reawakens in the same spot. He's just walked through the cafe door, and he's the only one that remembers that anything like this has happened. So now we realize that he's going to have to relive this same situation. It'll take him a couple of minutes and a couple of tries to kind of figure out what's happening, but yeah, he's now fully aware that he is stuck in this moment. He's going to have to relive it until he manages to do whatever he has to do to get over this situation. We've all seen movies like this. There is always something that they have to do to get out of the situation. He starts reliving the moments. He starts trying to find new ways to get out. He starts finding new ways to kill some of the other patrons of the shop. He realizes that when he tries to cross a certain barrier, he just restarts right back in the cafe. So he doesn't necessarily have to die or kill anyone or finish off the entire cafe. He just can't go outside of the boundaries of the cafe, and that's been set out to us within the start of the movie. Something I think this movie does really well is that it sticks to its own rules, which is fantastic. And yeah, after a while, he begins to realize, I can have as much fun as I want, and I can kill people in any kind of way that I want, and we're just going to keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this till I lose interest. But of course, after a while, Charlie does then want to get out of this situation, because you know what? That's only fun for so long. I don't want to say too much else about the plot, but it is kind of one of your standard time loop movies. I do think it's not exactly original in terms of the plot, but what is absolutely 100% original with this movie is the execution. And it doesn't stick to any one real genre, as in this is going to be a straight up horror movie. There are moments of comedy in there, there are moments of thriller in there, there are some jump scares, there's actually some action beats conflict, and some really, really nice drama. So that is what I think really excels in this movie and sets it apart from other movies like this. So I'm going to get into my cast and crew, and I'm going to start with lead actor Brendan Fehr. He plays Charlie the Midnight Mangler, and I think Brendan Fehr does an absolutely fantastic job in this role. Oddly charismatic, weirdly horrible, but also lovingly lovable serial killer, and we kind of get to know that almost straight away. I genuinely become to love him, and I think that's part of the point of the movie. I'm not going to talk about the ending at all, because we do have a little bit of a twist of an ending, but all of that leads into that ending and completely makes sense with the way he's playing this role. And in the moments when he's doing the kills, you can tell he's quite enjoying some of these kills. And I think that's where Brendan Fehr excels. Whereas I think some actors may have leaned into one way or the other, Brendan Fehr is able to kind of lean into all angles of this character, all facets of this character, and really do his thing. He's a great actor that I've seen through the years, and very rarely do we get to see him in a sort of leading man capacity, but this for me is definitely a leading man capacity for him. And he nails it. He absolutely nails it. Anna, the waitress, who is another absolute superstar knockout in this movie. I think Majandra Delfino is absolutely sensational. She really does ground this movie and takes all the weird cockamamie elements of a time loop thriller drama action flick, takes all those different elements and just pulls them into her little world. A lot of the time, I feel like we're watching it from Anna's point of view, and I really, really liked Anna. She's a character you can just kind of fall in love with instantly, but you can tell that, yes, although she's a little bit naive, a little bit gullible, she also has this badass edge to her that hopefully we're going to explore throughout the movie, and we do. So Majandra Delfino, I think she is absolutely brilliant. Writer-director Keith Jardine, let's talk about him for a second. As I say, as I believe, I think he was an MMA or a UFC, I think that's pretty much the same thing anyway. I don't really know him from that area because I don't know much about that. Here I am seeing his first, what I believe to be his directorial feature debut. Yes, there's been short movies before, one of which looked like a basic proof of concept for Kill Me Again. If this is your first feature film putting out there to the world and giving us, it's very well accomplished. It looks slick, it looks gorgeous, the cinematography is excellent, dialogue absolutely spot on. When we get those comedic moments that you're not expecting, they are very, very funny. Moments of frustration with Charlie when he ends up trying to do something different but ends up coming back through the cafe and he's just like, oh shit. There's a moment where there's two patrons at the counter that we see all the way through the movie, and there's a moment where he pulls a gun on one of them, turns around because he gets distracted, and one of them just pulls the gun out and shoots him, and when he walks back into the cafe he's like, you fucking shot me. I really, really liked moments like that. It really sets this movie apart a little bit more. It doesn't play it for laughs. It plays it very straight. So I think Keith Jardine has done a fantastic job in making this movie. But also he plays the character of David Stajansky, who's sat in the corner, not really saying anything. And whenever Charlie goes over and tries to talk to him, he gets no response from this character. This character just keeps looking at him. And you're just waiting for him to do that Silent Bob thing where he does drop some dialogue. We have Tate Fletcher as well. He plays the fry cook, and I genuinely kept forgetting this character was in the movie, and then we get a whole section where it's like, maybe this is what I may need to do. Maybe he is my bison. Maybe I need to take that guy down, and then I get out of this situation. So Charlie goes through loads of different moments, trying to beat him up in different ways. And like I say, the editing here, the editing is super fast paced, works really well. And it's just, yeah, I just think this movie's really cool. And of course there's Donald Cowboy Cerrone's in there. I'm always going to mention him because he has been in a good couple of movies, so it's always good to see Donald Cerrone playing in this field and carrying on doing this acting thing. So that's pretty much the cast and the crew. Let's get into what I did and didn't like, and I've already dealt with director, writer, actor Keith Jardine. It's clearly a little bit of a passion project. Clearly everybody is working in it to get the best they possibly can. They're all bringing something different to the project, and that's why you get the likes of Raoul Trujillo, who, you know, is from Mayans and big character actor that has been in a load of different things. He pops up as Dr. Lovato, and I think that's one of those things when you have all these different people doing all these different things really well, clearly doing it not exactly for the big bucks, because don't get me wrong, as slick and as gorgeous as this movie is, I don't think there's a massive budget here. Further proof that you don't need a massive budget if you just have a very interesting concept and something that you can sell to the masses. The score, I really like the music in this film. It's really well built, lays in a lot of the tension when it needs to be, and when we get these montage moments of him just killing people excessively all over the place, and then when he's doing the fight sequences all over the place, and when he's just basically trying to get out of there, though the music in there ratchets up that tension a little bit, really lays in the pace and can be funny at times. So yeah, the music's doing a lot of heavy lifting here as well. But I think the main thing that I absolutely did love was just the cast. A lot of good dialogue for everybody involved. And again, Anna, Majandra Delfino as Anna, I just think she knocks this out the park, and there's something really, really, really understated about this performance. It's hard not to pick her out as an MVP of the movie, even though Brandon Fehr is absolutely doing his thing. It's a nitpick, it's not something that I hated or disliked as such, but this movie is an hour and 48. I feel like we could have maybe lost 5 to 10 minutes here. There are just a couple of moments where we spend some time with certain characters that I'm kind of like, I feel like we could have lost something here and we still don't really lose anything. We didn't really need this little thing at the end. If we didn't have this little thing in the middle of the movie, that sort of threw me off a little bit. But I guess it's supposed to, because it is a time loop movie, so it's going to mind fuck you a little bit. So, and it does mind fuck you a little bit. Like when you get that twist at the end, you're kind of sat there going, oh wow, I maybe didn't see that coming. There was a certain point of the movie, I was watching this with my 14-year-old daughter. She genuinely thought this movie was kick-ass, and it's not her kind of movie. So when she sat and watched this movie the whole way through, I was mega impressed that she actually stuck with it, and she loved it. She stuck with the mind twisty bits at the end and actually fully got the ending, which I was really happy with. So we're going to get into my final review. Again, I was kind of saying before I hit that tangent that I could have maybe lost 5-10 minutes here and there. There are only small little beats that I don't think necessarily needed to be there. They were fine. They added a little bit more to this universe, and if you wanted to expand on it, I guess you could. Maybe you did expand and then you've took certain things out of it, and that's kind of the remnants of what was there. It doesn't make anything not make sense. It just means that I just kind of didn't really need it. Sometimes you get these things that I like to call colored bubbles. It's the filling to the movie. It's the bits that make you feel something. Sometimes you don't necessarily need those colored bubbles. Now, Kill Me Again. I'm going to be completely honest. This movie is not perfect. It's far from perfect. Having said that, I am going to drop a 4.5 out of 5 on Kill Me Again, because honestly, my enjoyment of this movie was up there, and I haven't really enjoyed a movie this much of this ilk. Now, okay, the game Dead Reset, I did love that game. You may have me on that, but this is a straight up movie where we're doing straight up time loop movie things. So yeah, it's a completely different bag of fish. But I do just think that this movie kicked ass. It punched hard. It got really good kills. The actors were all smashing it. The direction, I think, is just on point. I think Keith Jardine, for someone I didn't really know and still don't really know, I just thought he nailed this movie to the absolute floor, and I would definitely watch this movie again. I'll definitely be pushing people towards it. I'll definitely be doing everything I can to make sure people see Kill Me Again. It's a star performance from Brendan Fehr and a star-making performance for Majandra Delfino. And yeah, this is an actor I'm 100% going to keep on checking out. But in the meantime, right now, I am going to give you Kill Me Again 4.5 out of 5. Please do check it out when you get a chance to see this movie. Please do. I think you'll really like it. If you do like it, if you have seen it, hit me down in the comments below and let me know what you thought of this movie. If I'm dead wrong, tell me I'm dead wrong. If I'm kind of right, tell me I'm kind of right. And if I'm somewhere in between, let's just have a discussion about it. That's where it all continues, in the comments down below. In the meantime, check the movie out. And if I don't see you in the cinema, I will see you in the next review.